beyond my control. And, you know, that's, in fact, in the state budget, there'll probably be a decrease in education revenues across the board because, you know, all the departments of the state are cutting back. So they may cut back on Medicaid or catastrophic aid or, you know, all those other things that we can. So, but again, it's beyond my control.
You understand the state constitution requires that the state pay for any mandates as of 1984. So, well,
yeah,
you know, I'm just pointing out
right.
the state is required to pay for any new mandates. If these mandates are new this year, they are required by law to pay for them unless we choose to pay for them.
Well,
which
then,
is that's
So you think
so how do we get them to pay?
well, I don't want to get to that discussion.
Well, I do. If we're not receiving the revenues, is it because we don't know how to bill to them?
No, I think they just like the feds, they're
They blow you away.
So no, I want to make this.
Become a Claremont and go to court.
I want to know. So they're making.
I'm the budget committee.
They're making.
You're making the suggestion.
Yeah, but you're the one reading the regulation, and I want to understand it. So what you're saying is they're saying if it's a mandate, they're going to pay for it, but we have no mechanism for billing for it.
Well, I would just not do it.
Well, no, because
and let them sue us.
don't you think the mandates are for the benefit of the children's education?
Not if we can't afford it. It's not anybody's benefit. We can't afford the mandates. You know, it's the bottom line. If we can't afford it, then who's benefiting from it? The taxes went up 7%.
Who's not benefiting?
Taxes went up 7% last year. So how many people are benefiting from this tax increase?
I don't know. Hopefully the children were
well, not if there are fewer children going to school. Yeah, fewer children going to school because people can't afford to live here. You know, so I think, you know, this is, mandates may be nice, but if they can't, if they're not affordable, the state obviously can't afford to pay them, right? So, you know, but because the state has control over their taxes, we don't have control over taxes. You know, so they.
The federal government and state legislature in Hampshire is notorious for legislating and not funding or fully funding. Even when they fully fund, they take some of it away after a while. Even sweepstakes disappeared. You can't find it now. But supposedly going to education, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Oh, well, yes.
Bill the legislature, each one individually, for that increase.
If you're serious about it, I think you want to go for it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Somebody has to
If they vote
change
something,
100% a bill this
you know what? We have to change the funding, but we cannot knowingly cut and deprive our children from an education and support that we need to know they have to have.
Well, we don't know we need to have it. Some bureaucrat.
No, I differ. They don't come up with this like, let's spend money. We went 25 years without it,
so now they're changing. I don't want to get into a big,
I do. I want to, because this is the fundamental of where we're going.
Right, well.
Do we properly educate and support our children?
Not if we can't afford it.
Okay.
So
because we're a town that can't support it, our kids are.
No town's going to afford it. What if they mandated?
People are supporting
what if they mandated that every school employee had to have a Cadillac Escalade?
Andy.
You know,
we're lucky if our school employees can get Mondays a do.
Well, I'm telling you, you know, or everyone needed to have, we need to have, you know, buses that are 20 feet longer. Or we had to only have 15 kids on a bus instead of 40, because if someone thought it'd be better for the kids to have smaller.
We're not talking about
it's the same. No, it's the same people. I'm telling you, mandates are wonderful, but if you can't afford them, you know,
I agree with you, but I'm not asking for Escalades or anything else here. I'm asking for a math teacher.
We're not talking about math teacher. That's not.
Well, yeah, we are. These are some.
That's not what we're talking about.
I think Andy's point is that the mandates that aren't being funded, and if the Constitution does say that, at some point somebody has to stand up. And I don't know that by not
you know, by now, it's like if you don't, if your landlord turns off your heat or whatever, and then you don't pay your rent, you're still liable to pay.
See, the catch-22 on that
Whether or not
mandate
you're
is,
doing the right thing.
see, the catch-22 on that mandate is that they're telling you if you choose to fund it, you do it.
Right.
All right, now, they're leaving you an option not to fund it. And there may be some repercussions, and that's what Andy's saying. In other words, they're not telling you have to fund it. It's that little catch in there is, this is a mandate. If you choose to fund it, you can. If not, the state will pay for it. Well, evidently, no one's not funded and taking the chance of having them come down on you because you might find out you may get it.
Yeah, how do we do that, Mike?
By not funding it.
Okay.
Sooner or later, you gotta
I
do
think we need to do that. I would love to be the next Claremont. I
It's
think
an
Fremont
option,
is in
it's
a
an op- it's an
prime
op- it's-
position to do
there are
that.
certain things, there's a lot of, we have positions that we're giving you options that you could have or you don't have to have this position and we chose to take some of them. They're not mandated by the state to have some of these positions. It's also in this case here, it's a case of, these are mandates. If the town chooses to pay for them, go ahead. But they didn't tell you, if not, what's gonna happen.
Well, don't you think that if we have people who are defaulting on their tax bills and not paying them, that that's something that can be brought to the state and said, we're not funding it? It's clear
Right.
that we
Because
can't.
we can't.
So how about
Right.
taking those statistics and bringing them to the
Right.
state and saying, this is where we're not funding
Can
it?
I ask you a question other than just one to the state? Have you ever said that to the unions during negotiation?
But the unions are the ones that have
Just
created
ask you a
these laws
question.
and mandates.
Yeah, actually, Mike, I want to answer that. We
Yeah.
asked our unions to come back to renegotiate this year. Please, I want you to understand that. I
I
made
realize
that
it.
very, very, you going to the bathroom?
I'm not ignoring you, I never ignore you.
That's okay.
I heard so much from it, just so you know.
Okay, now we're getting away from the question. We're gonna start bringing unions into it. We're really going power field right
This
here.
isn't just an issue with the school. I mean, the clerk has also, they're dumping a lot of extra jobs on her that she didn't do
Yeah.
before.
You're right.
And the question is should we tell the state she's not gonna do it?
Yeah.
You know, tough, you wanna say, you wanna give us a stipend for her to do them, then fine, otherwise we're not.
I agree with you. It's very difficult to
Yeah.
to sit here on the school board, you know, and they have all these mandates. It would be like having the town, having the state say, you have to have this many police officers for how many
Right.
people you have. You don't have those mandates,
Right.
you know, but when you do, and you feel obligated to follow them,
Right.
because
She's the same one on the board.
I think we're all on the same
Yeah.
page here. It's a question of, you know, how can you get it done? I think it goes to No Child Left Behind the same way. I mean, they've mandated things, and if you don't accept federal funds, you still don't get away with it, because even though there's no penalty, the fact of the matter is, the state minimum standards have addressed it, so you
Right.
have to live by it. We have one more position, half position to cover.